Alright, so today we are going to go through this blog, which is about using IoT rule action to send messages to Apache Kafka. Essentially, your devices will be sending messages to AWS IoT Core, which will use the IoT Core rules to send them to Amazon MSK, and then Kafka consumers can then consume these messages. Right? So let's get started. The first step is to go ahead and create the Apache Kafka cluster. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have the Amazon Management Console open on the Amazon MSK dashboard, and I'm going to go ahead and create the cluster. Okay, so according to the steps, it says we need to custom create it. I'll call it IoT blog cluster. Okay, it is on the latest version, and I'm going to choose my default VPC. I'm going to use two number of zones. So as it says, a minimum of 2 is required. So I'll choose one as AP South B and then AP South 1C. So let's use A and B, all right? And I'll select a submit for that. Second, it says that I need to enable SASL and SCRAM authentication. So over here, I'll select SASL and SCRAM authentication, and it also wants only TLS encryption traffic allowed, which is enabled by default, right? Rest is all default. I'm going to set it as well. Amazon CloudWatch metrics is to basic monitoring. So this is what it mentioned, basic monitoring. And I'll go ahead and create the cluster. Great, so it says it's going to take about 15 minutes. So let's pause and join back when it's created.
A few minutes later.
Alright, so my cluster has been created. It's now in active state. As you can see, the total number of brokers is 2, depending on the number of availability zones that we selected. It's on the latest version, and here's some information on the brokers. The next step in the blog says that we need to store a new secret. Essentially, we need to create a new secret and then associate that with the MSK. So to do that, we can just click on Associate Secrets. And then we'll go ahead and create a new secret. So it'll take us to a new tab, and then we can click on Store a New Secret. It says that I need to click on Other Type of Secret, and let's add in the username and password. Username is hello, and password is world. Okay. Great. And now it says that to select the encryption key, we need to add a new key. So let's do that. Let's click on Add a New Key. I've added one already, so I'll just go ahead and create one more. It says we need to select a symmetric key. Okay, symmetric. Click on Next. We need a display name. So here they've called it IoT demo cluster key. So I'll add something like that. IoT demo. I'll just call it IoT cluster key. Great. So I'll click on Next. It says create key. So should we choose Next? Okay, so my username is dev, so I'll click on dev so that I have access. And usage permissions also to the dev user. Perfect. Let's finish. Now we have a cluster key. Now we can go over here, refresh, and then our IoT cluster key shows up over here, right? So I've got that, and let's click on next. It says to click on, selecting over here and choose next. And I also need to give a secret name, and it says that secret name has to start with Amazon MSK underscore, right? Over here it says that. So let's do that. And we need to give it a name. So they've given it cluster secret. I'll just call it block secret. Cool. Must contain. Okay. I think there's an extra space there, right? Next, I'll just leave everything to default and let's create. Cool. Now our secret has been created, so we can go back to MSK. We can say choose secret, refresh the page, and we have the Amazon MSK block secret. And we'll select that, choose secret, and associate secret. So now we have that secret associated with the Amazon MSK cluster. Step number 3, they mentioned that we need to set up Kafka producer and consumer on the Cloud9 environment, right? So let's go to Cloud9. Here's my Amazon Management Console. I'll just click on Cloud9 over here and I'll go ahead and create an environment. So I'll call it same as what the block says. I'll call it Kafka. Click on next. And on the network side, I'll leave it to my default VPC, just like my MSK. So my MSK cluster and the Cloud9 environment has to be in the same VPC. So I leave it at default. And let's go ahead and create. Good. I'll wait for a few minutes to have this set up.
More moments later.
Okay, so the Cloud9 instance is ready. And let's run this command to make sure that we have the latest version of Java. Right? So I have Java, the latest, I think it's version 11, so that's fine. Now, the blog asks us to add the security group ID of the Cloud9 instance to the inbound rules of the Kafka cluster. So let's do that. Let's go back to Cloud9, copy the security group ID, go back to the MSK cluster, click on the security group, click on inbound rules, edit inbound rules, and add them. So I'm going to paste this over here and select, add one more, select that one. So they've asked us to add two security group rules. One is for, let me just confirm this. One is for 9096, port number 9096, and the other one is for 2181. So you can see this over here. Let me just open this up. So 9096 and 2181. So let's add that over here. 9096 and 2181. Perfect. So I'm going to save the rules. So that's done. So essentially these port values are going to be taken from the client information. So essentially from here. So let's go back to the Kafka cluster and click on view client information. And here you can see it's the same thing. So 9096 and 2181. So that's great. All right. So let's go back to the Cloud9 instance and let's start executing these commands. So essentially downloading the CLI tools for Kafka. I'm going to go ahead and do that. That is done. So I'm not going to use Nano, I'm going to use Vim. So the file name is going to be the same. Let's add this. This is the same username and password that we added for our client's secret. So let me just make sure everything is proper. Kafka client, username and password. Perfect. Save that. And we have to create another file. So I'll use vim again. Right. So they've said that I need to replace the path to key store file with these commands. So I'm just going to paste, for now I'll just paste this and then open a new terminal and get the path from there. Right, so this is the value. I'll just copy it, paste it over here, and then paste the rest of the path. Right, let's save it. Okay, next is copy the C asserts. So let's do that. And that's done. Okay, so now we have to set these variables, bootstrap server and zookeeper strings. These are essentially endpoints to which will allow our Cloud9 instance to connect to the Kafka broker. So let us set up these values. I just have to copy it from the client integration information. So from here, SAS7 Scrum. Right. This is for my bootstrap server, and the other one is going to be for Zookeeper. So let's copy that as well. Okay, that's done. Now I need to set up the value for the topic to which I will be publishing. And next we will create that topic with this command. So this is the command, create, and then we need to give the Zookeeper string, that is the endpoint, and then name of the topic. Perfect. So now the topic has been created. And don't worry about this warning, it's fine. Alright, so it says that we need to open a new terminal. And I think this is... Alright, wait. So we created the topic, that's fine. Next is we are going to start a producer. So running these two commands to start the producer. Right, so now the producer is active. Whenever I push a message, enter a message over here, it will be sent to that topic that we created recently. So I'll go to the other terminal and I need to start a consumer now. So let's do that. Now note one thing is that this is the same bootstrap server as this one. So because this terminal window does not have that variable, so we'll have to set that one again. Oh, sorry. I'll just try to clear that. Copy from here. And let's just copy that value of bootstrap server. This is this one. Paste it over here. Perfect. Let's set the value of the topic. That's done. And let's start the consumer as well. Yep, this is the command where we start the consumer. Perfect. So now I can send some values. Let's say hello world, and you'll see that this value shows up over here. So this is some test messages, and you'll see all of them show up over here in this exact same order because we set the tag as from beginning. Okay, so moving on to the next step, it's asking us to go into IAM and create a policy, then create a role. So let's do that. We'll go to IAM. Then we'll go to roles. Sorry, the first one is to create a policy. So let's go to policies and create policy. Okay, so service, search for KMS. So let's search for KMS. Done. And then I have to select all actions and select all resources. Right, all resources. Perfect. Cool. And choose next. Next. And we're calling this policy KMS full access. Done. Now we are going to go to roles, create role, and we have to select EC2 over here. So EC2, EC2, next permissions, and we have to give permissions for secrets manager. So let's search for that. That's done. And search for and select secrets manager read write. Also, we need to select the policy that we just created, which is the KMS full access. So this is the one. Perfect. Next. And we are going to name it Kafka SASL role. Okay. I've done that. And create role. Okay, the role is created. Let's go to that role, and we need to add a trust relationship for AWS IoT to be able to assume this role. So we'll go to trust relationship, edit trust relationship, and add this. So essentially one is already added, so we'll just add one more over here. So make it into an array and add one more value. All right. And you can see over here the IoT at Amazon AWS.com has showed up. So both of these services will be able to assume this role. Next, we'll go to IoT core, and we have to go to act and then rules. Currently, I only have one rule. So we'll go ahead and create a new rule. They haven't given us a name, so we'll just add our own. We'll call it the same thing as the cluster. So, perfect. And the following query, that's the same query as the default. And we need to add an action. So let's do that. Let's add an action and send a message to Apache Kafka cluster. So we're selecting that. Now this is the part. Okay. So we are selecting a VPC destination, right? Okay, let's create one. Okay. Let's create one. Okay, so we have to first create a VPC destination. So create a VPC destination. I'm selecting the default VPC ID because my Cloud9 instance as well as the Kafka cluster both are in the default VPC. So we'll select that. We'll select all three subnets. And okay, select security setting of the EC2 instance we created or the security group of the Kafka cluster. So we'll just select both, not a problem. So this is the default security group. Okay, this is the default one. And let me see which one is for my Cloud9 environment. This is the security group, and its name is AWS Cloud 9. Okay, so AWS Cloud, this is the one. So these are the two. Perfect. And for the role, we have to use uh, create role. Okay, so we just create a new role for this. Okay. Okay. Created a new role, and let's click on create destination. Okay, so it says that when the item is unable to perform, assume role on the resource. Okay. All right. So I think there's some issue over here. I'll just select an admin role. So this is the admin role which gives permissions to everyone, and any service can assume it. So I'll just create it for my own self. Yeah, cool. So let's wait for this to get created.
A little later.
It's been a few minutes and the destination is now enabled. Let's go back to the Kafka configuration. So we were configuring the action, right? So let's refresh and select the VPC destination that we just created. Next, we have to copy the topic name. So this is the same topic name that we created in the Cloud9 instance, right? This is the one. Um, I think we can see it. Yeah, here. This is the one. Same thing, right? Okay. Next, we need to set up do not update the key and part. Okay, let's leave these as blank. Okay, so it says that verify that the security group of your VPC destination is added to the inbound list of your Kafka cluster. All right, so this is my VPC destination, and this I added two security groups. So this one I think we already added, so that's fine. Let's just confirm once. So I'll go to my MSK cluster, click on security group and inbound rules, edit inbound rules, and just click on control F and searching for that same one. So that's fine. I can also search for the other security group, which is the default security group. That's the same thing. So not a problem. Perfect. So we do have the same. If I had selected a different security group, I would need to have added over there. So that's good. The first Alright, so these are the values now we need to set, I guess. So let's go back to the configuring the action and let's look at these client properties. So they say that the bootstrap.server is equal to the TLS bootstrap string for the Kafka cluster. Okay. Alright, so let's go to the client information and yeah, so this is the one. So let's copy and paste it over here. Just making sure we don't have any extra spaces. Right. So next it asks for security protocol. Security protocol is SASL, SSL. The trust store empty for this, enter binary template for self. Okay, so we are using MSK, so we have to leave this empty. Password also we need to leave it as empty. Okay. SL mechanism, right? So we have to select Scram, so SHA12. And then this replace the secret okay, name with your stored secret name starting with all right. Okay, so this is how we have to set. Okay, got it. Okay. No, I don't think it got copied. Right. So I just need to make sure that the secret name is the same. So let me go back and click over here. So this is the name of my secret. So copy that, go to the action and change this value. Done. And I also have to change the role ARN because this is the account number of the blog, the writer of the blog. So let me go to IAM and search for this role name to make sure I have the correct ARN. I can do that over here. Here I am, and I'll just copy the role ARN from here directly and then paste it over here in the rule action configuration. Perfect. I think all it changed was the account ID. Okay, so let's copy the second value for the secret. Done. I'll change the name of the account ID and then change the name of the secret. Perfect. Cool. Now I can say add action and then I can do create rule. Right. Let's just refresh and make sure that it is enabled. It's enabled. Now last thing, we are going to go ahead and go to the test console and try to publish to the topic for which we created the rule and observe if we get the messages on our Kafka consumer. So let's do that. Let's publish some data to IoT/topic. This is subscribed, so let me copy that, go to publish, and let's publish a message. Okay, and Kafka. Oh wow, okay, awesome. So we got that message over here. So let's just try something else. Hello from IoT console, message, Kafka role is working. Publish that, and this is what we got. So perfect. So we got our integration. Uh, we first created the Kafka cluster, then we created the Cloud9 instance where we are running this consumer for the topic, and then we integrated our AWS IoT rule with that Kafka cluster, and via that we are getting the messages in our Cloud9 instance, which is running the consumer. Thank you so much for watching and support the channel by liking and subscribing.